19 years ago today, Kurt Cobain died, killed himself, the lead singer of Nirvana. Man, doesn't seem, 19 years. I never would have guessed that. Never. Now, I have to admit, I didn't get caught up in Nirvana. People now, I think it was Spin magazine, maybe it was Rolling Stone, where they looked back on the impact of Nirvana and Smells Like Teen Spirit. And just when you first saw, the video was what was great. The music, not as arresting as the video. But did Nirvana have that impact on you right away, Seton?
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, it didn't. Now, Zeppelin had that impact on me right away. So maybe it's the age in what you hear. And it's also the previous years of music. Because didn't you have big hair? Weren't we getting out of, Rat, Poison?
Faster Pussycat and all these lame
Motley
hair
Crue.
bands.
Yeah, so then you went into something that was completely different. And that's what happens with genres. When you have this era of music and all of a sudden disco's over and it's this. Or, it's techno and then it's this. Because it's going to be so drastic that that's what gets you. And you hear that guitar lick and all of a sudden it's got you. And then you look at the video, that's pretty amazing. Yes, Eaton.
I want to say that by the time Nevermind got to number 1, the album, it took Michael Jackson out of the top spot. And so that was sort of like a big symbolic, moment.
Was he doing Thriller?
No, that was like Bad, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, in 1991, I was 13. So that was pretty much, that was when I was really starting to get into like music and sort of that like subculture kind
Maybe
of
that's
thing.
what it was. It's the age in which you hear something.
Yeah.
I remember Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, and I was, I think, 14. And I kept thinking my brother had this turntable, and I would just go up into his room when he wasn't there, and I'd just put on Pink Floyd, and I go, holy smokes. And you hear the noises in the different speakers. And then Animals came out, and I went, oh, boy, wait a minute. But Zeppelin did that to me. I just got that immediate feeling of this is something a little bit different. Yeah, Paulie?
But I think you can compare Zeppelin and Nirvana in the fact that everything was very slick and produced and makeup, and the videos were slick, and they came out and they had a big middle finger up. They didn't dress well. They didn't look good. Even the way they sang was not pretty. And so it was refreshing.
But you had the Stones who were already there in The Who. The Beatles were at the end, and then Zeppelin was there. The Stones were still making great music, and so was The Who. Zeppelin came in. In fact, Keith Moon, the drummer for The Who, said they're going to go over like a Led Zeppelin. That's how they got the name, that people didn't think Led Zeppelin would survive. Nirvana was just something out of nowhere. It was almost like punk. When punk came on the scene, people went, what is this? And then you had Clash, Ramones. I'm glad there's a variety of bands there. Sex Pistols. But once you got that, I think it's more of what the music was before that. And it's like now. What is the music now? Can you really put your finger on what is now? Whereas before you had generations where you had music, and it would be, that was rock and roll, that was disco, that was techno. Maybe it's still techno. Skrillex and Swedish Mafia. I mean, you have these different, the guys just spinning. They're not even doing that. I think they just stand up there. They got 3 hours of music already, to play. And then they just, dead mouse. Just we're ahead. Yes, Eaton.
Dangerous was the Michael Jackson album.
Oh, okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, Paulie.
I just remember it being called alternative radio, and then Nirvana changed it where alternative radio became number 1 in the country. How many number 1 hits did Pearl Jam have a year after Nirvana with their first album 10? They killed it after that, and they changed the direction.
Yeah, you can't be alternative, but you're mainstream, because that's what happened to alternative. It became mainstream. And alternative didn't want to be called mainstream.